Yo, did anyone call in a 343 special with Lucky Cheese 7? Because I sure as hell know this was unplanned. Let me just say that right now. This was actually one of the streams that I was going to save for tomorrow. But I figured since I have time right now, I need to talk about this. Because the thing is, with Chainsaw Man, 2 chapters into the new year, it's only been what, like a couple chapters? And the next chapter is dropping on Tuesday. So I figured, no, 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 no. Let's not hold off on this chapter and dive right into just the stream itself. For anybody that's wondering as to why I haven't actually done the streams like separately, like when I talked about 152 and then, you know, talk about 153. So here's a short story. A It's just been timing. Timing has just been super, super weird on my end of things, and it's kind of throwing off my groove somewhat. But at the same time, I figured, okay, you know what? I've only missed out on 2 chapters. Let's just dive right in, do the stream, and I think very much 152 and 153 actually complement one another so well. They complement each other so well together. And in some cases, I'm actually glad that I'm doing the stream on 2 of these chapters back to back because it's actually really special that way. But with that being said, you guys, I haven't even done my introduction yet. Hey, what's going on? Lucky Cheese 7 is back at it again with Chainsaw Man chapters 152 and 153. And we're going to obviously start from the beginning. But let me just say this. Tatsuki Fujimoto, we need to have a conversation about this. Because there's only so much angst I can take with a series. And with what these 2 chapters have to offer, I mean, we're talking about a literal gut punch here. A literal gut punch in the stomach, which, ooh, don't know if I'm ready for that. But let's dive into 152 first. Because as we know, when 151 ended, you know, the last chapter of 2023, Denji transformed into Chainsaw Man. And it was probably one of the most best ways to end off 2023 was just getting that as the cliffhanger. Like, yo, we getting the return of Chainsaw Man. And at first you would think, whoa, this shit is hype. And you do kind of see that here. When Denji transforms with like the opening cover spread, have the chapter title, 152 titled Massage. You got one of the civilians in the corner saying, "It's another Chainsaw Man wannabe. Oh, yeah, in my neighborhood. Yeah, come quick." Which, by the way, let me keep this up just so I get a general consensus of like what's going on in the 2 chapters. Not that I'm not paying attention, obviously, but you know, we got some fools in here to deal with. Got some citizens. You got Fumiko, who's like stuck too. You've got the Whip Devil. You've got the Spear Devil too. Sugo's also there. And like quite literally, they're like pulling the stops. And then you got Nayuta. And bro, I'm not even joking with you. The shit was Nayuta. Especially like these 152, 153. Hit so much because you see what's going on. You see how she's kind of terrified. She said the chainsaws are a bad idea right now. Like, let's run for it. And bro, with what Denji said, like this almost kind of broke me because he says, "Nayuta, get out of my way," and you see like the shocked look on Nayuta's face as Denji's thinking, like, "I'm the worst, aren't I, Pochita? They burned down my home with my pets inside it, and I." You see like the adrenaline and excitement that Denji's kind of feeling in this moment. He's feeling it. I feel like $1,000,000. Thanks to you guys, I get to be Chainsaw Man. It's very ironic. It is messed up, but in a weird case, this is what he wanted. He wanted to be Chainsaw Man, and it happened in probably the most messed up situation possible. And again, you see the Spear Devil here and the Whip Devil's here too. They're charging right in, but Denji ain't having it. You're seeing what goes on. He's like, "Come on, Chainsaw Man, you can do better than that. Give us a real scare." And I mean, look, for the most part, if we're looking at it, 152 outside of like the stuff with Nayuta is like pretty much like pretty action driven, but it's like good action because you see what Denji's doing. You've seen him go through the Spear Devil and the Whip Devil, and they're like, "Wait, what the?" And again, Nayuta's sweating. You have the citizens going like, "Oh," one of them's like almost throwing up, and again, Denji going through the skull. Like this is like a super classic Chainsaw Man too. Like when Denji like went in and like like gutted down like their heads is very much, and he's like, "Thanks for the food, Sp- spit him out." But still, as it's happening, Whip Double's trying to go through, and Denji's like, "Oh, are you saying I oughta cook my food first?" So savage, like I love it. And the Whip Devil, I believe it's a Whip Devil, right? If I'm getting my names mixed up on the devils, I apologize. Let me actually pull these up real quick. Make sure I get the right devil names. Let's see here. So we got the Whip Devil, hybrid form. Sugo, Whip Devil. We look at the Whip Devil here too. I want to make sure I'm accurate on this. Okay, so this is actually so this is the Whip Devil. So Whip Devil's calling out to Sugo. And Sugo just sitting in the back like, hmm. At first he's sitting back, but then he charges right in. And like, I'm not even gonna front with you here. This panel, the way how Fujimoto drew it, is beautiful. It's amazing. Like, do y'all remember with oh my god, what's with the Katana Devil? Yeah, with Katana Man. Like that whole exchange. That's what this is reminding me of. It's almost reminding me in a sense of like Katana Man and Chainsaw Man. Maybe you would even argue, say, the Gun Devil and Chainsaw Man. You could kind of make an argument case for both of them. A very much argument of case for both. See, again, blood dripping out from one end. Same thing with Denji, and now you just screaming out, "Denji!" And then Denji just says this as he's going all out against the Spear Devil. The thing about massages is too much force and they hurt. But there's a sweet spot where the pain turns into pleasure. And poor Nayuta, dude. Like, you can kind of see that she's like kind of breaking inside. And she's like, well, what does that have to do with anything? Like, let's get out of here already. And I kid you not, reading this part here almost kind of brought me to tears. I'm not even joking. Like, Denji just says this, Nayuta, maybe you shouldn't be around me anymore. And just that shocked expression on her face. Like, she's kind of been stunted for the most part throughout this whole chapter. But here, just hearing that from Denji, I mean, a gut punch is putting it lightly here. Like, it hit so deep in the feels. Just seeing her reaction like that. And then you see Denji. Because for me, this is where it hurts just right. And damn, do I feel so good. And he starts cackling about it. Like, again, very, very, very classic Denji like. And again, it's the situation and when he transformed in the Chainsaw Man. Look, as excited as he is, like, am I happy he's turned into Chainsaw Man? Yeah, of course. He's been, you know, very restrained recently with his current arc, and you kind of get the side of Denji where he's like, "Dude, I'm so excited! I'm thrilled I get to be Chainsaw Man." But on the opposite side of the spectrum, you get to see Nayuta's end of things, and it's like, on one hand, yeah, like I am happy for you, but like we need to just get away, just the two of us. And I remember reading this chapter in particular. Well, when Denji first said maybe you shouldn't be around me anymore, there was a lot of speculation of like, yo, dude, Denji's so far gone. He he don't care. But one of the things I thought about was that, like, no, he's in this moment of thrill and excitement, but deep down, he does care about Nayuta. Deep down, he does because he's since the end of part one. That is essentially the only family he has left is Nayuta. And like recently throughout part two, he's kind of getting that attachment somewhat towards, and it's not in the same light per se, but he's kind of feeling it towards Asa in some weird cases too. Not some weird cases, but like in some sense, he does feel a connection towards Asa too. Very differently, mind you, because with Nayuta, it's on a you know older brother, younger sister type of level, and whereas with Asa, it's like I kind of like her, So very different dynamics between for both girls. Okay, but what really runs deep is the family bond, the familial connections. And for Denji, like Nayuta is the only family he has. So, like, again, there's so much emotion that you can just see throughout the chapter, both from Denji's perspective and like thrill and excitement, and then just that sense of desperation of like just getting away from Nayuta's aspect. And I think it complements this chapter also in particular. And I think just based on that by itself, 152, I'm gonna say gets pure perfection, without a shadow of a doubt, pure perfection. Now, let's get to 153 because at first you're kind of thinking, yo, then he's straight up telling him like get away from me. Then we get to 153, titled Chainsaw Man Hunters, and you see exactly what happens between his battle against the Spear Devil, the Whip Devil, and Denji's like, cause you see like the remains of like what's on the floor, and Denji's like, "Say what? It's already over? Hey, did you guys see that? I beat all the big bad devils." And you see like the look on the citizens' faces, like they're a little bit taken aback, like, ooh, because we have to keep this in mind. Chainsaw Man has been kind of been regarded as a hero throughout part two. So this is like one of those rare, not one of those rare occasions, but this is like one of those instances where it's like, shoot, I don't know if I rock with the dude up close and personal, especially considering with what he did. Damn, that hurts. Ouch. And like you see blood, like dripping out from his skull. He falls on the ground. Ow. And again, Nayuta's she's still like taken aback by what he said in the previous at the end of the previous chapter. She says, "You don't want to be with me?" And these citizens, like, and to be fair, I can't exactly blame them because everyone in the city has been turning into like Chainsaw Man dummies. But like, you've seen them bring in like literal spears, like pitchforks, spears mostly, but spears, and they're like gutting down Denji. And then he got one of the mayors, not mayors, uh, public safety officers. Attention, citizens! This is a mass chainsaw head devil outbreak. Please evacuate the area and take shelters indoors. Can I evacuate too? Hey, he's talking. I hear some of them can talk. And they throw a net over him. Hey, well, what's the big idea? And like, even Fumiko's trying to come to his rescue too. Like, hey, that Chainsaw Man's safe. He's not our enemy. And you see with what happens, like the citizens are all like looking over at each other. One of like the elderly ladies says, "Ugh, he was fighting other devils, eating them too. But whether he's friend or foe, I can't say for real. Like I'm on Team Humans, dudes, and they're still unsure. You see just how they feel. One of them still just like yanks a spear into Denji's shoulder. And he's like, "Your friends ate my grandpa, you bastard!" And you feel the pain Denji's going through. He says, "Ow!" Like, "Hey, that hurts." And then, oh, like if you want to pour more salt in the wound, you want to know what these asshats are doing. They throw gasoline on the Denji, and one of them's like, "Light him up! Fire! Light the fire!" Lighter. Somebody bring a lighter. And Denji's like, "Hey, you pieces of crap. Cut that out. Ow." And again, you see this desperation, like the little sister side of Nayuta coming out, saying, Stop it. That's the real Chainsaw Man." And this guy still just saying, like, all the more reason to kill him. My wife might turn human again. And Nayuta, well, how? What are you talking about? A chainsaw sprouted from my wife's head. She turned into a devil. Killing Chainsaw Man could get rid of the chainsaws on everyone's head. And Nayuta's just like, there's no way that work. And he's like, get off me, Brett. Which Nayuta gets hurt. Ouch. And this is when Denji like steps out, like the big brother role that Denji's been like, you know, monitoring throughout the entirety of part two. Because one thing Denji always said is that Nayuta, above all else, comes first. And this is where you see Denji, like, you know, the big brother aspect of Denji, like, just breaking through, screaming out Nayuta. And he, like, cut through one of the humans. I'm not gonna. Well, did he rip off an arm? No, he just simply cut him. And it shocked, like, the other citizens. Like, see, he attacked a human. He's dangerous. Lighter, lighter. And still, Denji screaming, damn it. This time, even though, like, one of them's trying to light up the lighter, Denji uses chainsaw, like, oh, hell no, I'm not having that shit. I'm gonna cut you off. Keep stabbing. Don't stop. Even so, ah, lighter. Does anyone have a damn lighter? And he says, if you need a fire, there's a big one burning down my apartment building. And then there's this. This old hag, like grabbing Nayuta, restraining her. Come with me. No, come with Auntie, sweetie. It's dangerous out here. And Nayuta just begging, like, let go. Chainsaw Man's my family. And she yells that that thing is not your family anymore. And like you see Denji like again just like laughing. And again, in a way, it breaks her. It really does break Nayuta because she sees exactly what's happening. And she sees Denji like when he extends his arms out, like the big brother figure that he's being. And I'm not gonna lie, I did actually cry. This panel right here with Nayuta like having like like the broken down look, like almost like she's about to like cry. That was me reading this. I was like, "Fuck." I'm like, "Come on." I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Don't do this to me right now." No. If there's one thing, like Denji's gone through so much hell, losing power, losing Aki. This little girl's like been like the only bright spot in his life since the Makima incident. You taking this away, like nothing's gonna end well. But still, that's what happens. You see this, then you get this panel with like this person. Let me see if he has a name. I don't think he has a name, but I'm gonna look and see if he does. Who do we get here? We got okay, yeah. So I'm gonna just call him Citizen. So this guy gets attacked by the older auntie, and she attacked like she doesn't attack him. She slaps him in the face, and we notice the reason behind that is Nayuta with this last panel, and she tells Denji, "Run, Chainsaw Man," ending off the chapter, and it's crazy chapter, crazy sequences all around, and like Fujimoto for real. Like, how much angst are you gonna give a man? Because this again, what like I said in the beginning of the stream, there's only so much angst a person can take. And these two chapters back to back to back, all I'm gonna say is last chapter, and again, what I think complements this chapter so well, especially with the previous chapter 152, is that in the last chapter, Denji told Nayuta to get away from him. Now, in this chapter, Nayuta's the one telling Denji to run, to like get away from you, to survive, to live. And what I think is gonna go down in the next chapter was 154. There are two things. Not two things. Well, actually, there are two things. Denji could either just ultimately escape altogether, and Nayuta's like just by herself. Okay, so they both somehow escape, and they have to rendezvous somewhere. That's scenario A. Scenario B is somehow, some way they both get away. Maybe with Fumiko's help. It really all depends. Or the biggest thing also, and I could totally see Fujimoto doing this. Imagine we get this, and then we cut back to Asa. That thought just came through my head. I was like, wait, what if Fujimoto just, you know, ends off this whole thing with Denji and Nayuta, like just right here, and we cut straight back to Asa? That's a possibility. Is it a likely possibility? I'm gonna say 40%. It's a 40% chance we could actually see that. Or take it a step further. We could get both scenarios. Either have both Nayuta and Denji getting away. The second half of the chapter focuses on Asa. Or they both escape. And then that's when we also kind of run into Asa. It's a possible scenario too. But I think it really depends. Like, let's actually look at the volume. So if we look back at this current volume of Chainsaw Man, which I want to say volume 16 came out in December, right? So if we're looking at this, oh my god. Um yeah, so 153. Yeah, this could be the last chapter of the volume. And if this is the last chapter of the volume, this is one hell of a cliffhanger. I'm gonna say that right now. If this is indeed the last chapter of the volume, it is one hell of a cliffhanger to end us off on. But Fujimoto's done other things too, where we could also get one additional chapter, and then that's like the end off point for the volume. That's entirely possible too. It really depends. But all in all, this is another pure perfection chapter because just based off the emotion of what happened. Yeah, okay. Some can say we're not getting anything else on like what's been going on with Asa, but I also feel like for a closing point, I think let me rephrase that. I believe with where we left off with Asa, I think is a very very good point because you know war has kind of spread throughout the streets, and that's when Yuko's kind of like not Yuko, Yoru. That's when Yoru's kind of like feeling like the most power, the most like like sense of feeling alive again after such a long time. So I could see this being a case where like maybe we don't see like Yoru and Asa again for like a while, and then like for like maybe for like the majority of this next story arc, we're just simply focused on two things. Right now, Denji and Nayuta have to get away. That's the one thing. Whether it's they separate for a bit of time, or they somehow find a way to escape together. That's a possibility. It really all depends. But the only person that knows is Fujimoto. That's the one thing. Fujimoto's the only guy that knows exactly with where things are going to go next week. And with where we are at currently, I mean, you got two peak chapters back to back to back. And Fujimoto has done exceptional so far throughout part two. Sure, I wouldn't say every chapter has been pure perfection, but for the most part, each chapter, let me leave it out like this. No chapter in part two, in my opinion, has ever hit below like okay. Like the lowest I think we might have probably gone through is like say great or good plus at best. There has been no chapter that's been like say shit or like meh okay. No Chainsaw Man chapters have hit below that. So in that essence, I will say we are in a very interesting spot with Chainsaw Man. And I really cannot wait to see with what Fujimoto has in store for us. Whether it brings us more angst, whether it brings us more feels, we just gotta wait and see. But aside from that, you guys, that is pretty much all I gotta say when it comes to this live stream discussion on Chainsaw Man chapters 152, 153. Let me know what you guys' thoughts were on these two chapters. How do you guys feel about the angst that Fujimoto gave us with Denji and Nayuta? Do y'all think they're gonna separate? Or do y'all think somehow, some way, they're gonna find a way to escape together? And with that being said, you guys, that's pretty much it. I'm Lucky7. Don't forget to get subscribed to my channel for more Chainsaw Man, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.